Oh no! Well! If it isn't little Alex. Long time no viddy, Drew. How goes?
It's impossible. I don't believe it.
Evidence of the old glasses. Nothing up our sleeve. No magic, little Alex. A job for two who are now of job age. The police.
And we're back. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Puck Rock Rangers, episode 14. I'm Stefan. This is Palmer. And let's get into it.
So how's everything going, Stefan? What's been going on in your world? Let's get right into what our personal things.
So as far as personal life, nothing interesting. I have a very normal life, and I've been in a much better mood lately. It may or may not have something to do with the fact that the Rangers have been playing a lot better. So when I have a terrible day or something doesn't go right at work or just whatever the case is, and I come home and turn on the TV to watch a Rangers game, I'm not letting them deflate my entire mood, which in return makes the kids more happy with me and the old lady more happy with me. And I'm just a happy guy. But
That's
as
good.
far as anything new going on, nothing new. It's just the same old, what you got.
That's good. We like happy Stefan. I would say the Rangers probably have something to do with it. Probably the move being out the way has something to do with it. You've been a busy man through the new year, so life's good for me. Not as much hiking and getting out as I like to. Been a couple chill weekends, but I needed that. Practicing hard with Coded. We have a show coming up in February.
Sick.
So we're trying to get ready for that. And it's a brand new band, so it's really like getting four people together and getting us all on the same page and all that shit. So, but it's coming together. Other than that, watching Rangers have been on the uptick. Hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been pretty, but it's been a lot better than it was.
Absolutely.
And we can get right into it.
Hold on. There is one thing new that we both have going on.
What is that?
Where are we?
We are in a new studio.
We are in a new studio. You know, it's going to take a little bit to get the lighting and camera and everything perfect, but we're actually in a new space, and we should have better sound quality, and we should have an easier go because it's more convenient for him. It's a lot more convenient for me. And I'm excited because we don't have to break everything down after every episode. So,
and we're hoping it'll lead to more episodes, us being able to get together more on a whim, more live streams. So just keep an eye on us. We appreciate the feedback and the followings and everyone rocking with us. But yeah, we're gonna keep things going. And for the music heads, I have some music things planned. It's been a little chill on that front. You know, everyone's been busy, but definitely have some things planned next couple episodes.
Sweet. So what do we got in the game notes today?
Well, I did make some notes. Last episode was a bit of a rambling mess, so I want to keep us on the rails this time. And I think we need to start with the big news that broke over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll tell a little story about how it went down. My wife and I, a lot of times, watch things on our phones separately, or I'll be watching this, she's watching that. Well, we were connecting. We watched shout out Skeeter Gene. I don't know if you watch that guy. He like busts like the predators, like child predators and stuff.
I watch those YouTube videos all the time.
And we don't have to get too into that.
Bunch of college students.
or older
or
creepy
just
guys
whoever.
or whoever. But anyways, shout out Skeeter, doing good work. But we were watching some of those videos, and it's like, it's fun when we can connect and watch that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a Twitter notification. I think it was Evan or someone broke the news about the trade, and it was just like gears switched. I went into my little station, pulled up all the shit. And the Blockbuster Trade we're talking about, of course, is Mika Rantanen. That's the main piece. And I have the details here. I'll just break it down and then we can get into it. So the Avalanche get Martin Necas, Jack Drury, a second in 2025, and a fourth in 2026. The Hurricanes get Mikko Rantanen from the Avalanche in exchange for all of that, and Taylor Hall from Chicago. And Chicago, the third party, or the third party, we'll leave it at that. I'm trying to keep it clean.
They got hosed, I feel like.
Chicago
What are they doing?
Get out of this deal. Chicago sends Taylor Hall and gets a third round pick from Carolina and has the rights to retain 50% of Rantanen's salary. All right, so
make it make sense.
So it's an exciting trade when you look at the Hurricanes and the Avalanche pieces. Then when you factor in Chicago, how do they win? How does that benefit them to give away an actual player, a guy that's won the Hart before, a guy that has a pretty good career, is a consistent forward, and you give him away
for a third round pick
and the rights to pay half of Rantanen's salary? Chicago fans, feel free to write us or comment. Yeah. How do you feel about this trade?
I am sorry to all my Chicago fan friends. It's a cold day in hell for y'all.
I mean, that's the work of some real bozos there. I'd be pissed off if the Rangers did that shit.
No, we'd be having we'd have Drury's head on a stake if he did that. We'd run him out of town if he did some crap like that. That's like us giving away Panarin for a third round pick and then just having to pay some money, having the rights to have to pay money. Like,
I mean, there must be some future considerations coming back to Chicago, because what do the Hurricanes have, like blackmail on Chicago, or I guess everyone has blackmail on Chicago.
Maybe they're honoring they're using the buddy system. Like, you know how like the Sharks kind of do us, Sharks and Anaheim, sometimes they'll do us favors. Like they did us a huge solid by taking Trouba and that contract. Maybe it's like one of those things where like they're just trying to form connections with another team.
The Sharks really
go back and forth.
The favor really was the Sharks taking Barclay.
Yeah, well, a favor's a favor.
Favor for a favor. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Rantanen. He's a hell of a player. Taylor Hall's a great player. There's some good players involved in this trade, but the Chicago's part of it just does not make sense to me. If someone can explain how taking on half of Rantanen's salary benefits them, I just don't see it. For a third round pick.
Hey, before we go, can we not go too deep into JT Miller?
I don't have JT Miller in the notes.
Thank God, because I that horse is been beat to death. I am so tired about hearing about the JT Miller possibilities and locations and landings. Like, if something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen. But I don't want to talk about it too much because it's just gotten annoying.
The horse has been beaten to a fine powder.
They made glue out of it.
We're not gonna beat that horse any further. If something happens, obviously we'll report on it, and maybe at some point we'll get into our opinions on it. But I'm pretty spent on it myself.
No, I can't. So. I got nothing.
Anything more to say on this trade? I mean, I guess a caveat to this trade, something I found was interesting, is the Rangers get to play both these teams fresh off the trade. We just played the Avalanche. We got to see Necas in his new home, got to see Drury. Both of them had a point and a goal and a point. Drury with the goal, Necas with the point assist. And then next game for the Rangers is up against Hurricanes. Get to see Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall in their new home. So how are you feeling about that?
I'm just, my fingers are crossed that it's going to be one of the that'll be one of those things like what happened to the Predators over the offseason. They went and got all this star power. They were this big scary team, and now look at them. Maybe the guys won't mesh. I'm hoping that happens. I can't, I'm not counting on that happening, but you can't tell me you didn't think that the Predators were going to be a lot better than they actually are right now.
I did. My betting money would have been on them being better than they are, obviously. But if you recall, I did say I could see a world where they were bad this year, and it's playing out in front of us. Bad, I didn't expect.
Maybe Marty Necas was one of those glue type guys, and Rantanen just doesn't have the same effect in the locker room.
We'll see. I think part of the deal here is everyone's curious to see how Rantanen's going to do without McKinnon, without Makar. I mean, Carolina's got some dogs and they got some players on that team, but they're not a high-powered offense like the Avalanche is. So we'll see how he fits in, and obviously we'll see a lot of him because he's in division now. So I'm ready to move on from the trade. I mean, that's been beaten. What are we going to say? It doesn't involve the Rangers other than it being the Metro getting better and teams we got to play against getting stronger.
It absolutely involves the Rangers because
it affects the Rangers.
It involves the Rangers because we're all like, why couldn't it be us?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it be us? Like,
oh, trust me, that's when I see moves like that, I'm like, and here we are, dinking and dunking and just making all these bullshit little moves. We've been talking about a big splash since the offseason and really haven't seen it. I mean, I guess you could say Trouba and Kakko being out of here is a big splash.
Yeah, and before we move on, I want to add one more thing to that. I did watch the Carolina game, the first game since Rantanen was playing for them. And I was so jealous during the intermission because their network actually interviewed the GM. The Carolina's general manager was like, yeah, I'll talk to you. So in mid-intermission report, they get the GM out there and he's talking to the fans and explaining things. Why don't we get that? Why don't we ever get an explanation? Why don't we ever hear from the GM? Like, this guy he's this little nerdy looking dude and he's in there. He's like, if we can do something to make the team better, we're always going to do that. And
was the interview, was it live at a Bojangles?
No, it was at the game. But yeah, like it pisses me off that other teams GMs are so willing to talk to the media and say what's going on a little bit, but we are just kept in the dark so much with the Rangers. Yeah,
Drury, I mean, we get like basically a preseason, some kind of preseason interview, and then after that, you may or may not hear from him for the rest of the year.
We get some preseason hope and then a postseason sorry.
We learned the lesson.
Yeah, we learned. He says, all right, see you next year.
Someone in the chat, tell me how you learned the lesson but run it back. How does that work?
Yeah.
But let's move on from this trade. Another thing that happened in Ranger world is Will Borgen, recently acquired Rangers defenseman in the Kakko trade, has been locked up for a 5-year, $20.5 million deal. That puts it at an average annual value of $4.1 million per season. The trade or move protection decreases with each year. Cool. And then in the 5th year, there is no trade protection. So how are you feeling about this trade?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Or this extension, sorry.
I like the extension. The way I see it is they got a solid replacement for Lindgren. And Lindgren, he's just been so beat. He's been playing a little bit better, but he's still not been playing good. And if you look at the way that Borgen's been playing, it's almost like he makes Miller suck less. He is so responsible. He is such a good stay-at-home defenseman. And I'm not gonna knock him for that bad pass on the Avalanche goal. But I mean, mistakes happen, but that was like the first real mistake I seen him make.
He's had a couple. I'm trying to remember the game, but there was another very loud turnover that he had, and I'm splitting hairs, but I think he's had 2 or 3 pretty egregious moves. Other than that, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, you are. I think you are splitting hairs a little bit, but he's just a good stay-at-home D. He's not out there for his offensive force. We needed a defenseman that was gonna be a stay-at-home guy, and that's exactly what we got. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups where people keep on posting what's going on with Kakko, like 13 points in 14 games and this and that. Shut up! Like, Kakko didn't want to be here anymore. Kakko was fed up. His time had ran out with the Rangers. We figured out a way to make our defensive line stronger. We sent him out, got what we wanted. He's doing good where he's at. Borgen came here. He's helping us out, doing good where he's at. I don't want to hear it. Like, he didn't want to be here. Let him go. I hope he does good. I'm a Kakko fan. So, yeah, I'm extremely pleased with the extension. I think 4.1?
Yeah, 4.1 a year.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad for somebody who's going to be responsible.
It's almost exactly half of what Trouba was making.
Yeah.
And if you can get the production, the same kind of play, I think that's the Rangers' appeal here with Borgen, is they're looking at it as a much more cost-effective version of what Trouba was. He might not have the leadership skills. he might not have all the intangibles, but he's a good, solid NHL player. I put some pros and cons down for this. I feel overall pretty good about the trade, and I'll start with my pros. I think the pros, the obvious ones, he's steady, he's physical. He's provided that since he's gotten here. He's helped stabilize K'Andre Miller. We'll see what happens long term on that. I'm pretty spent on K'Andre at this point. But if he's going to stick around for the rest of the season, and can be a good pair, I'm with it. Some other pros, he likes to shoot the puck. For a guy that doesn't have a lot of offensive prowess, he does shoot the puck, and good things happen when you shoot the puck. He's already got a goal. He's already got a couple assists that way. So, he's looked good in that regard. And size and age, he's a big guy, likes to throw the bod. I'm still hoping for the first Borgen fight. That was kind of the thing I thought we were getting with him when I watched the highlights, was fights and big hits, and I haven't seen a lot of that, but he's played pretty physical. Some of the cons, and this is the main one for me, the initial reaction when we traded for him was similar, just who, no disrespect, just hadn't heard of him, didn't know who he was, and he's been kind of a back and forth guy between the AHL and NHL, hasn't really stuck with any other rosters, so it's just a little surprising that he's coming here and looked so good, and we locked him up pretty quick. You got to think. I think I saw a meme or something where Lindgren was like, he's been here forever. So I think it's definitely Lindgren replacement, like Stefan was saying, and he's been pretty good. Other than a couple turnovers, he's looked solid. He's fit in. The guys seem to like him, so I'm down with it.
Yep, I like it. Nah, I don't got anything else on it. Will Borgen I've been pleasantly surprised by him. So that's all I really have on that.
Yep, and that's what I've been calling him, Will Borgen.
I don't know who came up with Will Boring.
I mean, that's just a layup.
Skill Borgen.
Well, I was thinking if we get a goal, from him and Will Cooley, it'd be willpower.
That's all right.
But we'll move on from that. So I have a short shit list. The Rangers have been a lot better. There was a point in the season where it was 4 and 15,
4 and 14, I believe, or maybe it was 4 and 15.
I mean, it was just awful. The guys are playing with no heart. That's changed. They're looking a lot better. I don't think anyone's screaming Stanley Cup, but you know what? I kind of like the thought of them maybe going in as a wild card team, maybe going in as a 5th seed, and then seeing what the hell happens. I kind of like that. But the shit list here. Mika has looked better, but he's still not back. He had kind of a rough game against the Avalanche. And a point I wanted to make that I didn't get a chance to last time, and this is not a dunk session on Mika, but this is really something Ranger fans need to look themselves in the mirror and be honest about. When assessing Mika, is he a number one center anymore? Maybe at one point he was, but I made a list of the 10 last Stanley Cup winners. Centers.
I think we went over this in the last episode, didn't we?
Did we? I don't think no, we talked about it, but we didn't actually go over it on air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we spoke about it. So, and we'll go through this quickly, but the last 10 cup winners, think about these guys and how Mika lines up with them. So, Barkov, Eichel, McKinnon, Stammer, O'Reilly, Nicky Backstrom, Sidney Crosby, Jonathan Taves, Anze Kopitar, and Patrice Bergeron. Where does Mika fall with those guys?
In the AHL. Compared to them.
Honestly, the only one he could kind of hang with all around game wise is O'Reilly. They kind of have a comparable game. O'Reilly's a little bit more grit than Mika, and I think Mika's probably a little more talent than O'Reilly. But other than these other guys, and look, Mika's our guy. I'm going to root for him. But the conversation of him being a number one center, died probably 2 years ago.
Yeah. And
I think that's the hard conversation Ranger fans need to see, and an expectation moving forward is that he's probably a 2 or 3C.
Mika's a banana pass.
Yeah, he loves to pass the puck, man. And the one-timer's dead. It's just, we're going to change gears. I didn't want this to be a shit fest on Mika. He's looked better, but it's still not where it needs to be and still not Stanley Cup caliber.
And I want you guys to know I am wearing my Mika jersey. but I had to pull the lint roller out to put it on because it's been sitting in the back of the closet for so long. I just been too ashamed to wear it. But Mika was my guy. Mika still is my guy. I just wish he would be producing at that like 1C type level we got for a few years there. So
yeah, and maybe some of it can come back. He's looked better, but it's still just when you look at him as the number 1 seed, this team's not going anywhere as far as a cup. And then Kreider, man. I've always been a Kreider guy kind of fan. Big Kreider fan. I mean, he basically came into the league right when I was a young buck getting into hockey as an adult. And he's got to be hurt. I know and I'm not breaking news here. I mean, it's been documented that there's a back injury, but that's really got to be affecting him. He has been ineffective.
Casper.
He's been mostly ineffective.
Chris Casper.
You're not noticing him. You're not seeing the burst of speed. He's hanging out in front of the net looking for the cheapies, but he's really not been the same player. And something that really stood out to me is our boy Sam Carrick, right now at 15 points. He's only 2 points behind Kreider. How is that even possible?
Because Sam Carrick's a generational talent. That's how. And Sam Carrick has been Sam Carrick McDavid lately.
And then Panarin, the numbers aren't terrible, but he's kind of having a down stretch or down season too. Part of the problem, and we'll move on from the brutal truth session here, but the Rangers, a lot of their top tier talent, the guys are plus 30 and on the decline. And, I think it'll be a fight to the end. I like to see what this team does, scratch and claw and make it into the playoffs. But when I look at this team, I don't think there's a chance that this current construction wins a cup.
No.
And I don't think I'm breaking news by saying that, but I think there's some delusional fans out there that are still thinking, this guy's going to bounce back. I think it's more about finding some new pieces. I've said it. I'll stay with this. As long as Kreider can get healthy, I think he stays and finishes up his career as a Ranger.
I hope.
I'd like to see that. He's just too effective when he's going. But yeah, there's some tough decisions fans and management are going to have to make.
I mean, you think about it as recently as the playoffs last season with that hat trick to knock out Carolina. Like, that wasn't a long time ago. That was the latter end of our playoff stretch pretty much before, not even a whole year ago. He did that, and maybe like a half a year ago or so, but it's not that far back that he was that dude. And like, yeah, he's got to be injured. There has to be something going on to where he could just fall off the cliff that hard, that fast. Because he's been Casper. He's been Ghost. He's not noticeable. The power plays, he literally just. I mean, I know he's a net front guy, but you still gotta have some work ethic on the power play. Like, you can't just stand. He looks like Ovechkin waiting for that one-timer pass, except for he does it in front of the net and doesn't even know if the guys aren't even trying to get it to him like they do with Ovi.
I feel like this Ranger team, pretty much across the board, I mean, with the exception of a couple guys, has kind of rested on their laurels. You take a guy like Fox, won the Norris. God, if they ever name that trophy the Miller, shoot me. But he won the Norris. But, really since that season, the shine is kind of worn. I tweeted out during the game after Kale's second goal. I said, kids in the car are like, we want to go out to McCar's. And the parents are like, no, we have plenty of Adam Fox at home. That's how you got to feel watching these other upper echelon defensemen with the way, like Fox, it's like he got to where he was and he's like, I'm cool with it. I can just be a top 20 defenseman. Mika got to that point. That's cool. I can be top 20, 30. So much complacency and for a team that, really was struggling a couple months, a month or so ago, they're not out of the woods yet.
No, it's a slow climb, but can we talk about a little bit of happiness?
Yes.
Like, they have been playing better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. The boys have been playing better. They had a 10-game point streak, whether it was, I think they went 7 what is it? 7-0
It was 7-0-3 because
7-0-3 in their last 10. So they're forcing teams that are scratching and clawing into overtime, and then they're winning some of them. So they have been finding their identity again, and that's been such a breath of fresh air. But
yeah,
the last game against the Avalanche, like that was such a terrible way to lose the game. You know, we're trailing the entire game. We don't have a lead the whole game. Third period, we're just dominating play the entire third period. We tie it up. We get a late power play. They kill the power. They do the penalty kill. They kill it off. And then with 14 seconds left, a terrible turnover, which leads to a 3-on-1 and an easy goal. It was such a terrible loss, but I was still proud of them. Like I was like this Avalanche team is a team that's like, you know, one of the cup contenders, one of the serious cup contenders out in the West. And we rallied back, and it only took one mistake for them to capitalize on and then take the game from us. But had we not made that one silly mistake, had Borgen not been out on power play 2, we wouldn't have had that. We would have made it an 11-point game streak.
If that game was played in December and it started out the same way, where the Avalanche scored 2 quickies, no chance the Rangers come back.
Nothing.
No chance of overtime. I mean, we'd be talking about a 6-1 ass kicking, honestly. You know, that's how the things were going for the Rangers back then. They'd get down, the wheels fell off. So a lot of credit. That's what makes that loss sting. You know, you'd almost rather them just get beat 4-2 and that just wasn't your night. For them to fight back and be 14 seconds away from overtime, and that last power play not clicking, just killed them. You know, Panarin out there too long. He was gassed. You know, just a lot of breakdowns there. You know, Miller driving the puck down deep. I'm always worried about that because it doesn't turn into offense and usually doesn't turn into defense. But yeah, we can, you know, that game was tough, but other than that, the guys have looked so much better. It's been
so much better.
From just a viewing standpoint.
The eye test.
You know, you don't watch these games and you're not numb anymore. You feel things and you're pumping your fist, and like there was points in the season where it's like I think I asked you a couple shows ago if you can name 5 like good moments in this season. We're getting some of those good moments back.
Yeah.
We're getting a couple Rempe goals and a couple Rempe assists. And actually,
fourth line.
You know what? While the good vibes are going,
fourth line.
Why don't we start talking about the man, Matt Rempe, Matt Gretzky. Look, he's been hanging out in the office behind the net, making plays. You know, he's been setting his boy Edstrom up. He's been setting Carrick up. He's looked good. He's doing everything you need from a fourth liner. This is a pro Rempe show. I'll say that first and foremost, and Stefan will back me up on that.
Yeah.
We are pro Rempe guys. I don't see why you don't give him a chance. He's playing so well. Keep him in there.
Yeah, the fourth line in general, Edstrom, Rempe, Carrick,
it's been our best line.
They've all been just gelling, and they've been on fire. Like, I just want to say to all the Rempe naysayers, like, I told you so. I told you so. You were trying to get him back to the AHL. You said he couldn't be more responsible. He's just a goon. He's just a plug. For a fourth line player, he's doing pretty good, and these other guys are doing good too. He is energizing the team. Like, how could you argue with the record when he's in the lineup? It's like 22-4-5 now or something, or it's like 24. It's a extremely skewed on the winning side of things when you look at the record from when he's in the lineup. So to all you guys who wanted to send him down and write him off and say there's no place in the NHL for him, just admit that you were wrong already. I am tired of this dying on the hill, but you're just making yourselves look stupid.
Well, and I said this in an earlier one of the first episodes. You're a boring fan. Mm-hmm. If you're rooting against Rempe, you're a boring fan. What the hell are you rooting for? You want Brodzinski in there? What are you seeing with him? You know, at least Rempe's fun, and when he's going, you have no excuse. Yeah. You know, when he's throwing elbows and doing stupid shit, you know, we can't stand by that. But he's been doing it. He hadn't taken any penalties in the last couple of games, or if he did, it was one little penalty. He's been keeping it clean. He's been, you know, that pass the other night was a shot. I hope he registered a shot because it bounced off the goalie's leg. He put it on net and it bounced off to Carrick. And Carrick scoring that goal was pretty vindicating because I was just hours removed from my maple syrup order.
Yeah.
So when he scored, I was just like, that's my guy right there. And I can't wait for that syrup to come in.
Yeah. What kind of bottle did you get? Did you get like a special kind of?
I did. I got the maple leaf bottle.
Oh, sick.
So I'm going to use that on the set here. So when that comes in, we'll show that off. And then I just got the normal bottle of his just plain Jane maple syrup. I wanted to try just the regular shit first.
So I got the
You got the aged.
I got the aged bourbon bottle. The bourbon barrel aged maple syrup. So
you got to put your pinky up when you pour that shit.
Yeah, well, and if you guys don't know, I'm sober. I don't even drink, but those bottles are damn cool. So I was just like, yeah, I'll look cool for once and just, maybe if I go to a party, I'll bring my syrup bottle.
My aged bourbon syrup.
Just on the rocks.
On the rocks.
But no, if you haven't already, go check it out. It's Carrick Bros. Just Google Carrick Bros and their website comes right up. I had to check it out, and yeah, they got some cool stuff. I don't know if I'm ever gonna use the syrup just because it's more of like it's just a cool bottle. It looks more like a souvenir type thing. I might just stack it on the shelf and let it age some more. Who knows? But yeah, go check it out. They got some cool stuff on there.
I am definitely going to use the syrup, but the maple leaf container I might leave unopened and kind of keep that as a set piece.
I was interested that they had granulated syrup, like syrup.
Yeah, they were sold out.
It was like syrup. Yeah, you couldn't get it because they're sold out. But
sold out.
Sold out.
Sold out. Anyway, another thing I'll say for Carrick Brothers is I ordered that shit yesterday morning, and I got an email earlier today that it's shipped out.
Yeah, so they're on their shit.
They're not sitting around on their hands.
They're on their ship.
They are on their ship. They run a tight ship.
I dig it.
One thing we can talk about on the positivity, and this ties in with Rempe, I thought the top 5 in plus minus on this team was interesting. I was kind of looking at stats and just kind of coal mining for little nuggets there. And the top 5 in plus minus on this team is Fox at plus 9, Snyder at plus 7, Cooley at plus 6, and then Hedel and Rempe are tied for 4th and 5th, however you want to do that, at plus 5. And I thought it was interesting that Rempe's a plus 5.
Yeah, but Cooley's not going to be there long. Not when he's playing with Mika.
Cooley had second.
He stacked up. He became the highest plus minus on the team when he was with Kako and Hedel.
Yeah, Cooley. He's still, he's got a couple goals recently, but yeah, he's Mika's taking him down. And
they asked him about it in one of the interviews too, and he said, "Well, they put me on a line where I'm gonna be getting more ice time, and I'm gonna be playing against other teams' top lines. Like it's more of a defensive role now that I'm in, and I dig it. It's cool." You'd like to see him just lighting the lamp every night and producing a lot more, but he's producing in other ways. He's out there grinding it out on a line with somebody who doesn't grind at all. So
yeah, we need our meat and potatoes guys. And, and I know some people are talking about bringing in Pettersson, and I made the joke that Pettersson's not meat and potatoes.
I'm not a fan of that dude. I'm not a fan of Pettersson.
He's lingonberries or some shit. Like. That's not what we need. Sorry. I know Evan with Rangers Central is big on the Pettersson.
Oh, he loves Pettersson, but
we just don't need another softie on this team. Sorry.
Another soft superstar. Like get a tough guy, like somebody who like a JT Miller, for example, but just, a JT Miller if he was 10 years younger. Like that type deal.
Oh, like a JT Miller that the Rangers had?
But,
10, 12 years ago?
Well, he didn't do it because he was a Ranger then. Yeah. He had to go somewhere else to do it. They, you know how it is. We gotta let other teams develop people, and then we'll swipe them up once they're developed, because we sure as hell can't develop anyone.
One other thing I wanted to go over. Do you have any other positive vibes you're putting out there?
No, I'm just happy with the overall play that we've had for the last couple of weeks. It's really giving me hope. There was a stretch there where like the Rangers could have scored first in the game, and I still was not happy. I still wasn't like, oh, we got this game. Like it could be against Chicago. Like we could score first against Chicago in that slump, and I'm like, Chicago, get it back.
Dude,
they'll tie it up. They'll take the lead. But now if that like the Avs score a goal, I'm like, oh, we can get it back.
Fight back.
We can fight back, and that's the whole vibe I have, is that the team is starting to fight back, and it's been such a breath of fresh air.
I felt that same way watching the Rangers games. It was almost similar to that feeling if you've ever been with, everyone's been in a relationship or have a friend or whoever. And let's say you guys get in a fight and you're still mad, but they try to joke with you or they try to, and you're not ready for it. That's kind of how it was. Like the Rangers would score, but it's like, I'm still mad. And they'd score, but it's like, but they're going to get scored on again.
Have you forgiven them?
I've forgiven them. I believe in forgiveness. I think it takes time to build trust back. And I really mean that. I know it sounds dramatic, but that's where we're at. Ranger fans, the Rangers really put us through it in those months. And you really got to see the ugly side and the panic and all the worry. And we're not out of the woods. The Rangers, are a couple mistakes away. Like I even texted you guys the other day during the Avalanche game. I said, it's December Rangers, and it made me look stupid. And I'll gladly look stupid on stuff like that. But
I want to know, do you have like PTSD from it? Like, for example, after that late goal in the Avalanche game, like my PTSD kicked in and I was like, oh, here comes another slump. It only took one thing to stop the raid, or, stop the rally they were on. Like now they're going to go back into slump mode. Like, and, realistically, like I have this feeling that they're going to use this to fuel them playing better. But, like, they're probably angry at that kind of loss. But it's still that little, hint of doubt in my mind that, like, this is the exact type of thing that would, spiral them out of control again.
That's interesting. I didn't feel that, obviously it was a deflating loss, but the fact that the Rangers were getting deflating losses earlier in the year, but it was deflating for another reason. That's deflating on any level. Like I was talking to my wife about it, and a couple years ago, my dad and I went to a game in Tampa, and we were basically getting ready for overtime, and Mika scores with 16 seconds left. Game over. and that's just the way hockey goes sometimes. It's a quick game. It's a bounce. It's an inch. It's whatever. And we were just on the opposite side of that. So
yeah, I
think they can bounce back from that. That to me is not as bad as like the shit that gives me PTSD is when I think about like the 5-0 or whatever ass kickings against the Devils and just some of the shit that was going on earlier in the season. If we get close to that or start seeing some of those things come back, then we'll talk. But as far as PTSD, I think we're good. It's more of a building back trust with me.
Cool.
One thing before we get out of here, the Rangers put out their quarter century team, or at least lines 1 and 2. Did you have any issues with it?
Yeah, I did. How are you going to have Mika up there but not Yager? How are you going to not have Yager on the first one?
Well, Yogs was on part.
In general.
Yogs was on 2.
Yeah, but why isn't he on 1? It's Jaromir Jagr. His number got retired in the entire league. Like, nobody can wear 66 ever again.
I'm in agreement with that.
Why is he not on the first one?
I think it's recency bias because you look at the whole first line. It's Kreider, Panarin, and Mika. Look, dude, Mika's a great player, but you take peak prime Mika and peak prime Yogs, who are you taking?
Which position was Yager?
Dude, Yager
was he a center?
Mika would be getting Yager's coffee.
Was Yager a center?
If they were on the same team, yes.
He was a center?
Yes.
So why the hell do we got Mika on there before Yager? Like, the only explanation I can make for it is...
I'm sorry, Yager was not a center.
So if Yager... So that's it. The Rangers have never had a good enough center that they have to have a center on the first line, and Mika's like the only one they got.
Yeah, I think we were mistaken there. Yager's not a center. The other center was Derek Stepan.
Why is Messier not on the list?
Because it's quarter century. I think they wanted to cut guys off. Yeah,
that is over a quarter century.
So just to go over the list again, for those at home who are just haven't looked at it or want a refresher. So you have Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Chris Kreider, Henrik Lundqvist, and then on defense, Ryan McDonough and Adam Fox. That's your first team. Second team, Matt Zuccarello,
my dude, Derek
Stepan, Jaromir Jagr, Igor Shesterkin, and then on defense, Mark Stahl, and probably my favorite Ranger, Dan Girardi. I don't have any major issues with it. I heard some people talking about putting Rick Nash on it. I liked Rick Nash. I was a big Rick Nash fan when he came here, but it always felt like you just wanted more with Rick Nash. And in my opinion, he didn't do enough, especially in the playoffs, to crack the All Rangers team.
I mean, technically, Patrick Kane was a Ranger for a short period of time. Why is he not on there?
Well,
are they trying to keep it players who are significantly?
I think it's a fact. I think it's a mixture of like where you were at your peak with the Rangers and also longevity.
Yeah.
Because Kreider, when you take a look at his whole career, it's probably not as impressive as some of these guys' peaks.
Why is Sam Carrick not on there?
Sam Carrick is on the third team.
Sam Carrick, yeah. They didn't have enough players who were in his tier to put on there with him. It would have been 3 Sam Carricks and then 2 Will Borgens as the last one.
Yeah. All right, so the next game, we're gonna wrap up here. The next game is against Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the exact order. I think they have 6 games left. There's Carolina, there's Boston, Blue Jackets. I want to say Vegas Golden Knights are in there, and Boston. I said Boston. So a couple tough matchups.
Yeah.
The easy one is the Penguins. That's an easy dub.
That'll be the one where they give up.
Yeah.
Give up 4 goals. We beat the hell out of the Penguins twice already, so they're probably wanting some revenge.
But that's all I have. Just wanted to touch base. It's good to get up and talk some Rangers with you.
Yeah, always.
And hopefully we'll get up another time, at least one more episode before this for this four seasons restaurant, before the 4 Nations tournament. So
look, if you haven't already, that means that you are completely messing up big time. But like the video, it helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. You can see some of our stuff on Instagram, here on YouTube. You can see it on Spotify, which I've been slacking on. Sorry about that. But I will get, now that our studio is here, I'll have more time here to be able to work on these kind of things, and I'll get us back up and live on Spotify. We got a Facebook. Pretty much anywhere you can. Oh, well, we had a TikTok, but we don't anymore. Which I don't really care about anyway, because we don't really have too much going on there anyway. But yeah, also, anywhere, any social media, you can see us. Give us a follow. Send us a message. Ask us questions. Give us your opinions and thoughts, and then we'll get back to you and possibly give you a shout out on our next episode.
And with that in mind, Stefan, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We did have a question, and I think we kind of went over this, but I do want to give our question asker a proper shout out.
Oh, Tommy boy.
Yep. Where is this? Sorry. Give me 1 second, guys.
Dude, you're messing up. You're messing up the whole episode. No, I'm hurry up.
There's too many damn notifications getting in my way. Okay.
Too many questions. Too many fans.
All right, so our boy Tommy Donovan, supporter of the show, we've heard from him before.
What's up, Tommy?
He says, should this Twin Towers 4th line, and he says with Carrot, I think he means Carrick. Carrot. Stay together all season.
If you say no, you're wrong.
I would say it should. I think the only thing that gets in the way of that is if, depending on what the Rangers do, what kind of trades, who they bring in. If they bring in a couple guys that might knock Rempe out for some games, it might knock someone out.
Don't do it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You leave the boys together. They're cooking fettuccine Alfredo. They're not al dente. They are caliente. Leave them together.
Love it.
Don't touch it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's all I got to say.
Got you.
Take out one of the guys who's on one of the other lines that isn't a frying pan right now. Maybe Kaliev or even Kreider or, take somebody else out. Do not mess with this 4th line. Our 4th line's cooking.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think the only thing that'll change that, like I said, is if, depending on what kind of trades are made, what kind of acquisitions are made, that might knock some people out of the lineup. But I think that's it. Like Stefan was saying, please follow us. Please like the channel, like the videos. We're going to be putting out more shorts. I've learned how to edit. So I'm going to be helping out more and putting out some funny stuff for you guys.
Tell them your Reddit story.
And I'll save that. I'll save that for next time.
All right.
But and follow us on Twitter. We are on Twitter. Or X, whatever you want to call it. We're trying to grow that base. I'm not going to read out our number, but it's pathetic. of followers. So we're trying to build
Are we
that
up to like 6 now? 6.
We have more than 6, but it's less than 25.
Ooh.
So let's try to build that up a little bit.
That's a quarter of 100.
Make a quarter century
On the road to
followers
1H.
team. Yeah. On the road to 50. But we appreciate it, guys. That's, I think, all I have for today.
That's all I got too. So forever hold your peace.
Till next time. Let's go
All right,
Rangers.
take it easy, guys.